Hello and welcome to NBL Overtime. It has been a tough 48 hours as the basketball world mourns for one of the greats, Kobe Bryant. His 13-year-old daughter Gianna and 7 others were killed in a helicopter crash early Sunday morning in Los Angeles. For people like us who loved our basketball, he was an icon. And we all have our own very special memories as to why he became one of the greats in our own mind. It might have been the 5 championships or the 2 Olympic gold medals, or the fact that he dropped 81 points in a game, or he had that unbelievable finale where he had 60 as he waved goodbye. It is going to be hard to do a show tonight and talk about a huge weekend in the NBL, knowing that there are families of 9 people who are no longer with us. He had the Mamba mentality that turned him into an icon once his basketball career finished. And he was going to that whole new level away from the basketball court we so desperately loved. We are going to tonight talk about what's going to be a huge weekend in the NBL. But we do it with a profound sadness and heavy hearts that a man who we loved for so long is no longer with us, continuing to excel in whatever he chose to do. I welcome Corey Homicide Williams and Liam Santa Maria, who both in their own ways in the last 24 hours have done wonderful jobs. And I'll start with you, Corey. You've done a wonderful job. You've met the man in your last 24 hours doing a lot of radio and TV in Australia. To be commended on that, mate, and I welcome you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. It's tough because, a guy like that we feel is immortal. He's supposed to be around telling stories when he's 80, kind of like how Bill Russell is right now. 20 years with one team. Who does that? 18-time All-Star, 18-time All-Star, 15-time All-NBA, 12-time All-Defensive Team, one of the best two-way players we've ever seen in our lifetime. 5 championships. He averaged in 20 years, 25, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 Olympic medals, like you said, like the countless scoring titles, and his mentality to just win, that Mamba mentality, I'm going to be great. He challenged the biggest shoes in the game that we've ever seen. Mike, I wanted to be better than Mike. The balls on this guy, the ego, like the audacity to say, I want to be better than the greatest player ever, and damn near was the closest thing to that. That's just incredible in itself. A remarkable human, a father. I don't care if you have a nickel in your pocket or $200-300 million in your pocket. Transitioning after the game is the most difficult thing to do because you've been doing one thing your whole life. He made it look flawless. He went on and won an Academy Award en route to transition into becoming an incredible businessman. So, and a huge advocate for women's basketball. He had 4 beautiful daughters, and my condolences, and I'm sure the whole world, our heart and love goes out to his wife and 3 daughters because, us, we have our lives to move forward. How is she going to be able to move forward? God give her the strength, because this is just heartbreaking and tragic to see how it all happened and ended the way it ended for him.
Before you start, Liam, studs and duds on nbl.com.au, the way that you started the article, of course, which is, a feature each and every week, you'd be commended on that as well, because it was a wonderful start, wonderful words, and I wasn't one bit surprised that you nailed it, so congratulations on that.
Thanks. It was hard to write. It's an unbelievably sad and tragic event. As an athlete, he was a transcendent superstar, and he was complex and polarizing and brilliant and inspirational all at the same time. And man, I tell you, like when he would extend his jaw and show you his teeth, I mean, your team was done. I mean, as a Phoenix Suns fan over the years, when I saw that, we were done. And I later in his career grew to a higher state of Kobe fandom, which was appreciation, just an admiration. And that, like everyone, and like Corey just did then, I've spent the last couple of days kind of reflecting on his legacy. And the things that he stood for and what he leaves behind, those messages, pursue your passion. Find your passion. Strive for excellence with every bone in your body, and never be outworked. And, you know, like, I think that Mamba mentality is his legacy. But I tell you, as a parent, I mean, I have 2 young kids, and what the one thing any parent ever wishes for, I think, is for their kids to live long and happy lives. And I think that's the part that's the hardest for me to process at the moment.
Not dissimilar to when he tore his Achilles, and rather than get off the court like every single other person that's ever torn their Achilles, he gets up and shoots a couple of foul shots. So something that the Mamba mentality was, when it got hard, you just worked harder and tried to get on with it. We are going to try and get on with it tonight, using that Mamba mentality, but as I said earlier, we do it with a very heavy heart. The NBL announced this afternoon that there will be 24 seconds of applause before all NBL games as we head towards, and what is such an important week 18 in the NBL. So hashtag NBL Overtime to get involved. Hashtag See Incredible, of course, part of it. We always love to, as I said off the top, there's so many wonderful moments both on and off the court around Kobe Bryant. Everyone's got their own special moments, and in fact, as basketball fans, same age that we are, Liam, he did break the hearts of Australian Boomers on 2 occasions, which he spoke about today.
He did.
So
I think what's going to be really interesting this week in the NBL, and we've seen it in the NBA over the past couple of days, the guys that are the age that are playing right now, they grew up in awe of Kobe Bryant. We grew up in awe of Michael Jordan, and then we were adults throughout Kobe's career, and we admired and appreciated him. But the guys that are playing right now, that was the guy that they had on their walls, and it's going to mean a lot to them.
let's try and get on with it. And let's start with Casper Ware. You called it this time last week. The fact is that he's bringing it for Melbourne United. It was a huge game on Sunday for Melbourne. They went to Sydney. They were plucky in the first half. But the way the Casper Ware started, you knew something was special. 26 points, 8 three-pointers. You know, he's had a bit of a struggle this year shooting the ball, but he always stands up and delivers in these clutch moments, and he was no different on Sunday.
A guy from Los Angeles, wearing the purple and gold, playing with that Mamba mentality. His laser focus and extraordinary motivation against Melbourne United this season has been incredible to watch. When he hits shots like this and then turns to the bench and stares down his old team, I wrote, that was Didi, but I wrote yesterday about the statement that he's been making in those games that you should have paid me my money. I said last week, if Casper's hitting shots, if Didi's hitting shots, this team's going to win the title.
Incredible performance. I knew he was going to come out and kill his older team. He's been doing it all year. This was nothing new for me. And maybe you're right. I think, with a lot of people take death different. It might give them that shift in mindset on how to approach life. You know, you're not guaranteed anything tomorrow. You're not promised. That may also, as well as this shooting performance, completely shake him mentally from a bad field goal percentage like he has been against everybody else. So, look, you never discount Casper Ware.
Joshua Tate was huge. Andrew Bogut, we spoke on load management and missing that game in New Zealand a couple of weeks ago. He looks fresh, and we're going to get to the game they got this weekend against another big man, but
Joshua Tate.
They're playing good basketball.
Yeah, Joshua Tate was really, really good over the course of this weekend, and his energy is so important to the team. Andrew Bogut, I thought this week was the most visibly struggling physically that we've seen all year. And, he threw down that dunk in Wollongong and was grimacing, and then, we saw him reach for his back at a point in time in that Adelaide game. He's lying down on the side of the court like he's Larry Bird in his last season in the NBA. So I think it's going to be really interesting to watch how well he holds up down the stretch here. Because
they go to Perth to take on the Wildcats. Miles Plumlee last week, 23 points, 17 rebounds, and the Wildcats escaped with one possibly. We'll talk about New Zealand late game very shortly, but you know what? It's never easy to go to Perth, but when you got a former NBA veteran having 23 and 17, it sets the table for what is going to be a wonderful clash this week.
Impressive performance by the big fella. He had about 6 or 7 dunks. He's coming to play. Legs are getting up under him. He had some key shots. You've never seen the Perth Wildcats team just throwing alley-oops, consecutive plays. So, you know, they have somebody that has a motor at that position. I've never seen a center for the Perth Wildcats like this. So I only think that he's only going to get better as his legs get up under him. And to have a consistent target like Miles Plumlee gives them makes them a serious threat for that back-to-back title.
I wasn't sure whether I was watching an NBL game or NBA Jam at times.
Yeah.
During that game, 6 dunks, and he was asked, post-game, and it was, he said, it's the most fun I've had in a long time. This is the kind of athlete we knew that he is, and we said a couple of weeks ago, as these Perth Wildcats start to have some sessions with him during the week, and they start to see where they can throw that ball and that he'll just go up and get it. He was assaulting the rim, and it's going to be fascinating to see how things play out, not just tomorrow night against Sean Long, but on the weekend against Andrew Bogut, because part of the way in which, all that was off screening actions, right? He said it's not rocket science. It's pick and roll. I'm screening off the ball. As the guy catches it, I'm rolling to the rim. He's quick to those spots. But the way that Andrew Bogut and the Sydney Kings guard those screening actions, part of it, a big part of it, is to take the roll man away as an option. Now, the adjustment we've been talking about all year is with Bryce Cotton, who's averaging 1 million points against the Kings. You got to come up a little bit higher. Well, how high do you come? Because that's now Plumlee rolling, diving to the rim behind you. And that was an issue for Bogut in the semi-finals last year with Casper Ware. When he started to come up, that brought Josh Boone into the game as a roll man. So we're going to get a real interesting window to that at RAC Arena this week.
Big weekend for the Wildcats, you mentioned that. The open air game, part of the Australian Open, always a huge event against Melbourne United, who will be as desperate as they've probably been all year after slipping under 500 for the first time in a little while and then going home to take on the Kings. But as good as they were, and you've got to win the game, the New Zealand Breakers, coming off a big weekend last weekend, had an opportunity to go to Perth and get the win. They fell 1 point short. They didn't get a shot. Norton throws it away here. There's an opportunity. They nearly get it back. Talk us through this, Liam Santamaria.
Well, Nata didn't want that moment, and then Finn Delaney didn't want that moment. They did not have the Mamba mentality, as I wrote yesterday. There was some criticisms of Dan Shamir bubbling around that he shouldn't have taken Tom Abercrombie and Jarrett Weeks out of the game. Well, those guys, he said after the game, those guys have 4 fouls. Our plan actually, it worked out great that we got the turnover and the steal, but the expectation was we're going to foul, send them to the foul line, sub those guys back out of the game. That's why Jordan Nartai was in the game. Having said that, you're in that moment.
You got to shoot it.
Well, if you watch it back, you just got to actually throw it up to Brandon Ashley.
Under the basket, the tallest guy who Bryce Cotton was on.
Bryce, if you have
Let's
another
have a look
look at
again.
it. So, and I don't know if we can pause it at the moment when Nartai toes the arc. Not there. Keep it rolling. But pause it right here.
Just throw it up.
Yeah, okay.
Right, look at Brandon Ashley. He's pointing to the rim. There's still 3 seconds on the clock. Now, hey, we're all Monday morning quarterbacks, right? It's easy to say.
True.
He was trying to do the unselfish thing. I am not a game-winning guy. I'm surrounded by game-winning guys here in Scotty Hobson, Sek Henry and the like. And it just fizzled out around him.
And remarkably, probably their season is probably done from a semi-final point of view now. You'd think it's going to be very hard. But you mentioned this last week. The rotation is shortened. You feel like they know their roles a little bit more. Who knows what the off-season looks like. But this New Zealand team is one that we kind of expected at some point to go on a little bit of run. And their second half of the year has been exceptional. You're someone who spoke in glowing terms around New Zealand, and we sat here and we were unsure. But really, this is exciting. The New Zealand fan base have really got behind them. And now if they were able to hold on to these players, or at least the core of them, Corey Webster comes back, this is something you can build 2021 and beyond on.
This is definitely a dangerous team. This is why I had them tier 1. But first half of the year, they looked tier 4. There was too much going on down there. But they definitely finished up strong. Maybe you bring the same crew back. I'm not against that.
No,
you could bring that
shouldn't be.
whole crew back.
Hey, mate, what they have bubbling in that mix that they have right now that's a championship contender, 100%.
If you're stuck on an island and you can't build a boat, and you can't leave that island. I don't think you should get a great deal of credit, but Liam Santamaria never left Brisbane Island, allegedly, and now the whole joint's full. So you've got 4,000 roommates, the whole joint, and I'm one of them. I'll put my hand up and say that I swam out there, and it's a beautiful part of the world. But they were great last week, Brisbane. They did what they had to do at home. They went on the road, and the schedule loss you keep telling me about, and how the 48-hour turnaround was going to be too hard. They blew out the Sixers in the fourth quarter and got the job done.
You know when you get to the arena a few hours earlier and it's empty?
Yep.
And there's this really weird feel about you're like, geez, I'm kind of like, not many people around this arena. And then a couple of hours later, the place is full and people are bouncing out of their seats and going crazy. That's Brisbane Island right now.
You being the mayor of Brisbane Island, you developed the whole joint. It's a cash cow for you right now.
Look, let's just say it how it is. This is the team that Andre Lamanis thought he was putting together and envisaged that they were going to have Richard Clark as well, and that coaching staff, CJ Bruton and Sam McKinnon. It's what I saw in the preseason and why I picked them to be a playoff team. We asked Andre Lamanis in preseason, hey, everyone said, we all said you needed an athletic 4. Is Will Magnay the reason you didn't do that? And he said, well, sort of. Lamar Patterson becoming available again is a big reason, but then there also comes a time we gave Will Magnay a 3-year deal, first-year development player, then advanced up to the roster from there because we thought he could become this. And there comes a time when you have to give a guy an opportunity. We saw Nathan Sobey there. Joey Wright gave him that opportunity a few years ago. We're seeing the Breakers give that opportunity to Finn Delaney. Will Magnay is getting that right now, and this team is rolling. First in offensive efficiency since Christmas, second in defensive efficiency. You do not want to play them in the final.
You do not want to play that team in the finals. And I'll tell you this, Lamar Patterson slimmed down. I personally had an issue with him because without him even knowing, if he's watching, he's knowing it now. You were elite last season. In the off season, you did not keep yourself in shape. You started this season in shape, and as a result of that, your team was losing games and you were underperforming. I don't care what the numbers were, you were underperforming. Now you just got in some serious shape. Look how you balling. Mamba mentality. Come into the season correct, you be MVP of the league, hands down. Hands down. The way he's playing now is what we expected him to come into the season playing like. Better late than never, but you're looking real good. And that's a huge result. It's a huge reason why they are in the situation that they're in. We're still waiting on Cam Glidden to come consistent. And if he comes back consistent, listen, that's not a team you want to face.
You know Corey's excited about something or someone when he sends a WhatsApp text and says, I want Will Magnay highlights. So we're going to show you some Will Magnay highlights. And you touched on it there, Liam. Again, huge weekend, 7 blocks on Thursday night, 5 blocks. And before I let you two loose, as much as I love him defensively, in the fourth quarter when he needed to score and he was called upon to put some points on the board against Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, he did that as well. And you and I did this game together. I literally thought I was going to give you mouth-to-mouth at that point when he blocked Mitch Creek twice. You were out of your seat. But Magnay's fourth quarter at the other end of the court was just as exciting.
This highlight reel, I'm not sure if I missed it, but you're talking about his offense in the fourth quarter. There was a play right near the start of the game when he caught it in the block against Ty Wesley, ripped it along the baseline, changed his hand on the finish with the English off the glass with the left on the reverse. That was a seriously quality move and finish. And I think Simon Mitchell, head coach of the Phoenix, put it perfectly on the weekend when he said, it's a beautiful thing to watch this man develop into an NBA player right in front of our eyes week after week. And he is now my pick for most improved player.
I believe there's been interest from 8 NBA teams, probably a summer league, and I believe the New Orleans Pelicans might have met with his management today. So, you know, you're the summer league veteran here at the NBL Overtime crew. We fully expect to see him at summer league.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay. I was thinking about this. It reminds me of Chris Anstey in the mid-90s. You know how he was sort of a development player and you thought, you know what, he was probably a little more high profile than Magnay, but then he had that sort of explosion. It was either 95, might have been 96 with the Magic, and he went from, this guy's pretty good, to he's going to play in the NBA. Yeah. And that's the kind of year you look at Will Magnay, which you did pick when we were down there at the NBL Blitz.
Yeah.
He dominated an NBL 1 All-Star team. We were like, all right, let's calm your jets, Corey. But you called it correctly, and kudos to you. But that's the type of feeling I have. He's gone from here to there to we might not see him for a decade here in the NBL, and that's disappointing for us to be not sitting there courtside with him. But great for the young man who looks like he's going to take his talents to the highest league in the world.
You know what I'm more proud of? I'm proud of the fact that when he delivered and he had that breakout game, a lot of times players get the hype and you see nothing else from them.
Mm-hmm.
They're just happy with one game.
Yeah.
He's been playing better and better every game. Defensively especially, he's making plays to where now his team is relying on that. And it's just an impressive thing. And, you know, at the end of the day, I come out, I'll say statements on social media or here, but you play different, I talk different. This guy has to be, with his play, without a doubt in my head, he's most improved player in the league.
Yeah.
Dane Pinard, I love you, but this is the type of, the league is so talented. Your place could change after 1 or 2 games. Defensively, what he's been doing. 4 games, how many blocks?
22 blocks with 8 fouls.
Come on, man. That's that's NBA.
I don't want to have this discussion right now, but he's also going to be eligible for the 6th Man of the Year.
Yeah.
Yo,
Which is going to be
funky
interesting.
because
I know.
how well he's been playing.
Exactly, as a starter. I get that. All right, Santa's watching, huge part of NBL Overtime, and it's, well, to be honest, because he's sunning himself on Brisbane Island. That's what you, the fans around the country, do. So you send in the funny clips. So what did they give you this week?
Well, we start in Perth because forget the
Yeah.
hype.
oh my God.
Oh, man, this guy was running amok just quietly.
He had your exact suit on as well.
We did it
No,
beautifully. He did it. Wild pass. Badger's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I like this from Scott Machado. Look, it's 1 minute to go, 2 points in it, and he's like, you know what? I need to sit down. Look at him as he talks to this dude here as we zoom in. He's like, yo, can you shove over a little bit? Yep. He's like, I need to sit down. I like this from, what isn't this a massive shot?
Monstrous.
Huge. And the best part about it was the Sam Cassell big plumps. And look, Mitch Creek, look, he's getting into the Blackwater.
Yeah.
The Aikura, we like Aikura watching, Santa's watching, and Simon Mitchell said some stuff, and then as we pan back across, we get a look at the fact that he just did some work.
No!
On the Blackwater.
Hey, he earned a drink. He was great. He was great.
He was.
Mitch Creek on Sunday. All right, from that to the, all thanks to LD Mobile, the NBL Top 10 of Week 17.
We've seen round 17, so it's time to check out the Aldi Mobile NBL Top 10. At number 10, Ty thought he was by, but look who's on the fly to deny. Can Zero is a top 10 hero. Of course it's Cam Oliver. Swatting Ty Wesley at number 10. Space Cam gets in again. On to number 9 in Sydney's Casper Ware and Andrew Bogut running what looks like a pick and pop, but then Bogey starts rolling and just hammers the rock. Just a little delay to set up the play, but Bogey's no old fogey. He's just gathering momentum after the pass that Casper sent him. The Kings get in at number 9. At 8, Mitch Creek's got an NBA resume, but that don't mean nothing to Will Magnay. The Lord of the Lane straight delivering the pain as Creek gets his shot blocked twice on this play by Will Magnay. We're checking in with the Kings again at number 7. Jayshawn Tate gets the steal, and then all of a sudden things get real. Quicker than a shot, BBDD races the other way and puts this on a plate for a rocket ship called Tate at number 7. At 6, frequent flyer Miles used to be a fixture on the NBA Top 10, and now he's in Australia, and he's doing it again. Perth's new big man denies a breaker slam as Miles Plumlee introduces himself at the top shelf, landing at number 6. Same game, different team at 5. 3 seconds left in the first quarter, but the Breakers have a half-court shot on order. They can't teach you any techniques to fling it from 50 feet like Jared Weeks. The half-court runner beats the buzzer and gets in at number 5. Brisbane gets in at number 4 as we watch Nathan Sobey get off the floor. Obi-Wan Kenobi using a crossover as the Force to divorce himself from the Adelaide defenders. Nathan Sobey free from the laws of gravity at number 4. Moving along to number 3, Anthony Drimmick tries to fly inside, but guess who's looking live to deny? Brisbane's got a moving skyscraper in there, so dunkers, you best beware. It's Will Magnay again with the defense at number 3. At number 2, tight game, less than 2 minutes to go, and it's Jared Weeks unleashing the hammer throw. Agent 97 arriving from heaven with some offensive aggression. Miles Plumlee goes up, but that wasn't enough as Weeks gets the stuff at number 2. But at number 1, sometimes you get the bull and sometimes you get the horns. Will Magnay goes up, but Daniel hammers this with scorn. Daniel Johnson elevates, levitates, then detonates on Will Magnay for the number 1 play on the NBL. Count it.
DJ at number 1, the LD Mobile Top 10 from Week 17, and now leads us into what we'll see a great deal of highlights for Week 18. Indigenous round as well, which, of course, we've seen a little bit of the jerseys already. Sydney Kings not playing a home game this weekend. They played a couple of weekends ago. A wonderful way to thank so many of the Indigenous players that have made up this competition and, of course, this country, and do it in the best possible way by enjoying a game of basketball wherever it might be around the country. So huge Week 18 Indigenous round ahead of us, and there are games left, right and centre that excite us. Open air, Brisbane and Melbourne, Sydney and Perth. Liam, Santa Maria, where do you want to start?
Well, tomorrow night, obviously, Melbourne and Perth open air is massive because, look, it's go time for Melbourne United. It was go time a few weeks ago, obviously. But, look, they still have a game in hand. They have a reasonably healthy percentage. If, by some miraculous turn of fate, they are able to turn their form around and get rolling, it needs to start this week. And they are 2 massive games, especially then the one in Brisbane. And for everyone writing Melbourne United off, and I'm in that boat, let's remember, that happened at the start of the season, and when they got going, they won 6 in a row to march their way back up the standings. In the NBL, as soon as you think you know it's like Survivor. Yeah. As soon as you think you're safe in Survivor, you're getting voted out. In the NBL, as soon as you think you know and it's locked in and it's sorted and it's 100%, things get flipped on their head, and just wouldn't be shocked to see them somehow turn things around. They beat Perth pants off in Perth a month ago.
I would like to see you do, in the off-season, studs and duds for reality TV. What do you like?
Perth Wildcats tomorrow getting that W. Mm-hmm. Then I'd like to see... I'm not really focused this round on Perth versus Sydney on the weekend because I need Miles Plumlee to get the 7 games in him. Then I'll judge him. He's here for the grand finals, you know? So I'm not even worrying about that matchup right now.
Big for top spot. Big for home court advantage.
They're going to beat the Kings home or away come finals, so it doesn't even matter.
Okay.
Bryce Cotton averages 35 a game. They have nobody to stop them. They're not going to win. They're going to give a good fight, but they're not going to win. It's going to come down to the big man. If they're doing load management right now for Bogut, you can't do load management in a 5-game series. Turnaround is too quick. That's where they're going to lose the championship.
Yeah, there's a bit to that load management. That travel to New Zealand, there was some legit, like a 12-hour travel day involved in that on the way back. A 6-hour layover, I'm told. So there's a bit in that. Can I just say,
please,
Indigenous round, so good to have it in the NBL. I want to tip my hat to the Illawarra Hawks who kicked things off in this fashion last year.
Yep.
The Cairns Taipans got involved in that way. A guy like Tyson Demos.
Shout out to Tyson.
Had Paddy Mills and
Paddy Mills
influence, and then Larry Kesselman, Jeremy Lowlegger to get behind this, spread it right across the league, and make it the big deal that it needs to be. It's great that they've done that and it's here and it's going to be terrific.
I don't think it really changes anything. With that Melbourne United Perth game, of course, is huge in so many different ways. But that Melbourne Brisbane game, because if Brisbane win, regardless of if Melbourne United have beaten Perth, I think the climb is going to be too steep to be able to get there. So it is a huge Week 18, and the way they've been playing, Brisbane at home, very hard to tip against them.
And Cairns Illawarra, right after this game against Illawarra, they go on the road for 3 tough road games. This is their chance to get to 15 wins at home. Oof. They have to take care of business.
All right. Thank you. It's been a tough 48 hours our thoughts and prayers with everyone associated, of course. And as we leave the show, going to play a little bit of what the NBL will play. 24 seconds dedicated to Kobe Bryant and Gianna Bryant. This will play across all games and all stadiums across the weekend.